Sex is the life force energy that runs through us all. Can you use sexual energy for your spiritual evolution? Or perhaps for emotional healing? Is it even possible? Clinical sexologist Dr. Martha Tara Lee will explore all these and more on Eros Evolution on OMTimes Radio.
Good day to all of you out there. This is Dr. Martha Tara Lee, and this is Eros Evolution, where sexuality and spirituality meets. My name is Martha, and I am a clinical sexologist based in Singapore, and my company is called Eros Coaching. So you can find me on www.eroscoaching.com. Today I have a very interesting guest. Interesting for me. Her name is Diane Merpaw, and she is a professional sex coach and spiritual teacher who is deeply passionate about helping women globally to heal their wounds so that they may discover, explore, and embrace the fullness of their feminine essence and expression inside and outside of the bedroom. Today's show title is Your Sexuality is a Gift. Unwrap It. Sexuality is our natural birthright. Unfortunately, many are unable to fully embrace this natural and innate gift because of wounds such as guilt, shame, limited beliefs, and or trauma. So in this conversation that we're going to have today with Diane Merpaw, professional sex coach and spiritual teacher, she'll be sharing with us tips, tools, and strategies on how to unleash the sex goddess within you. So welcome, Diane.
Hi, Martha. Nice to be here. Thank you so much for the invite, and I'm looking forward to this time together.
Thank you for being with us today. Tell us more about how you came to be a coach in sexuality.
What a fabulous question. I actually, I remember, so I've got an array of background. I've been working with clients for a few years now, and I remember sitting there in my office with a few female clients, and we were working on some self-confidence and self-esteem issues over a number of weeks. And two of my clients then went on to say, well, I haven't had sex with my husband for a year. What do I do? And I'm going, I don't know how to answer that question. As well as having experienced low sexual desire in my own life and performance issues between my spouse and I really wanted to find a solution that works for me. So after doing some research online, I found Sex Coach U, and my journey began with them and became certified last August officially as a professional sex coach.
Wonderful. So I guess the next natural question is, did you manage to resolve your low sex drive issue?
Absolutely. That is so much fun without meds. Here's the thing with that. I actually had I experienced that like in my 30s. I'm now in my early 50s. And I actually started wondering, what's wrong with me? And I had gone to various medical practitioners in my community, and, they would do the normal things, blood work, et cetera, and they kept telling me everything's fine. And as well had taken supplements, and that wasn't helping as well. And so I, it wasn't until I came to Sex Coach U and realized that there was a mind-body spirit connection, and that I had pieces that were disconnected in there as well, and needed to also fully heal my abuse at an earlier age in order to come into that space of feeling fully alive from within.
Thank you for sharing. So this became a spiritual journey that you went on to heal yourself from your past.
I've been on a spiritual journey for 15 or 20 years. That just deepened it in a different area of sexuality, which I had never thought, for me going into this, I never thought that there was a spiritual aspect to sexuality. And so was I ever proven wrong?
So could you tell us more about this link between our spirituality and sexuality?
Oh, I would be delighted to. So for me, it's about being mindful and being present in our day-to-day life, and to be fully present with our partner in the day-to-day interactions in and outside the bedroom. I also, my philosophy that I have embraced and continue to embrace is that daily I say yes to my life, that life is sacred. And part of that sacredness is knowing that sexuality is a natural, normal extension of who we are, and that it's important to continue to express that in the best way that we know how. And also for me, was moving away from a performance-based model of sex to one of pleasure-based. So by performance-based, it means, how many times did we have sex this week and was it good for you, versus just getting lost in the pleasure of giving and receiving and knowing that whatever the outcome was, it was good.
Oh, that's so good. That's really so good. I think even as you were saying that, I was beginning to think of how I, in the past, have been quite performance-based.
Oh, I think many of us are, and I would tend to say most people are. And I mean, we live in a world that it's constantly striving for, we're constantly being encouraged to go for the next goal, achieve more, do more. And so it really takes a conscious, being spiritual and conscious. It's really about taking a step back and taking a pause and breathing and going, what's this all about? And what am I rushing towards? And yes, quickies are great, but it's more awesome when you can actually get into that space of just being in that space of giving and receiving pleasure, and knowing that whether or not one experiences an orgasm, it's the experience is beautiful just as is.
Mm. Well, what would you suggest to someone who would like to have this kind of sex that's less performance-based and more pleasure, however their partner is really kind of like a wham bam kind of thank you ma'am kind of person?
Yeah, it takes some conversation with our partner first and foremost. And, and there are certainly differences between men and women. Women take a little longer to warm up, right? I always say I've said to my hubby many times, I love that he's ready to go in 0 to 60 seconds, but I haven't left the gate yet. And so it's like, okay, my engine needs to be warmed up. It's like certainly here in our cold Canadian winters, the car doesn't work as well when it's really cold and it needs to warm up. And I'm not saying that I'm cold, but a woman needs that space. So let's have some more pleasure foreplay, pleasure play in the beginning. And so one of the ways that I've learned to do that in my own life, and I actually recommend this to client as well, and it's beautiful, and I love what it plays out, is having sensual date nights scheduled in our calendars where the focus is just on sensuality. And if it leads to making love, that's great, but that's not the goal.
Mm. So how long have you been doing these sensual date nights?
Actually, I introduced that. I think that came in, during my training with Sex Coach U, actually way before Sex Coach U. So it's been a couple of years now, actually. And it's been great. And here's the one thing. I know a lot of people resist scheduling sex in their calendars, but they schedule everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Live in a really schedule world, but God forbid that, we schedule sex, because then it's not spontaneous, but here's what I know: if it's not scheduled, then many people can go weeks, sometimes months, without ever connecting sexually. So I think it's really important to stay connected with our spouses or partners. This has been a really great way to do that. And it's fun because we take turns. 1 week it's his turn, 1 week it's my turn. He plans it if it's his week, and I'm just invited to show up, whether that's at home or a hotel room, wherever that may be. And the same for me, and whoever leads is the one. And so it's fascinating because the one who's in charge of the date that night is the one giving, and the person, then my job, let's say it's my husband, then it's my job to receive. And so it's awesome to be in that space, and you just share that, you go back and forth weekly.
And you mentioned that you don't necessarily have sex.
Sometimes.
Like penetrative sex.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it is. There was one date that I can remember that I had a whole lot of fun. So here's the thing. It builds the erotic energy, which I think is also part of that fun and sensuality and spirituality and sexuality. So one night I sat on him for a half hour and just kissed his face very softly, different strokes with my lips, with my fingers, with my tongue, eyelashes, and that was highly erotic for both of us. And it didn't end up we didn't make love that night, but we both felt erotically charged.
Fantastic. Yeah. I so love what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. So here's the thing. Many of us show up, we date and the sex could be really hot in the beginning and we can't wait to tear our clothes off and so forth. But once we settle into a long-term relationship, we've forgotten to date each other. So part of this is continuing to date each other. I've been married 31 years to my guy, and we still have weekly dates, which often can be different than the sensual date nights, and sometimes they're combined. But it's really making an effort to stay connected. You make that effort when you're dating, and I believe it needs to continue all the way throughout one's committed relationship.
That's absolutely fantastic. I love what you're sharing about moving from performance to pleasure and scheduling sensuous date nights. So that it fuels your erotic energy.
It does. The other one that's a lot of fun that we've played with as well, and I give this play assignment to clients, is creating a sex bucket list. So invite my clients to create a list. I invite them to invite their partners to create a list. And so it really gives them an opportunity to start exploring what some of their fantasies are. And in some cases, some of them have not been used, certainly with women, have not been used to really defining what it is that they want and desire. So when we don't know that, it's really hard to communicate that to our partners, but yet we expect them to know what we want. And it's really, they're not a mind reader, and it's really important for us to communicate. So a really great way to do that is by asking, is by going within yourself and really asking yourself what it is that you would love to experience.
And then fantastic. We have a break and we'll be back to explore more about sex bucket lists.
Thank you.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue-collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into OMTimes Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio.
Welcome back to Eros Evolution, where sexuality and spirituality meets. And this is Dr. Martha Tara Lee of Eros Coaching. My website is www.eroscoaching.com. And our guest today is Diane Merpaw. She is a goddess. She's based in Canada. And her website is Diane Merpaw, MERPAW.com. She is Canada's first professional sex coach, feminine power coach, and spiritual teacher. She helps ignite the spark within women to create the most mind-blowing, delicious love affair of their life. And that is, of course, the one that you have with yourself. She is a lover of life and an artist, and follows her intuition and heart in all that she does. So welcome back, Diane.
Oh, thanks, Martha. Looking forward to it.
So we were talking just now about the importance of pleasure and sensual dates nights, as well as the sex bucket list. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, because we went into break?
Oh, I would just encourage your listeners to have fun and create a sex bucket list. You know, many people in the world, you know, after the Bucket List movie came out, or I think Ellen also DeGeneres had created, you know, encourage people to create a bucket list. Why not create a sex bucket list? And it could be as simple as you know, you would love your man or your woman to dress up in a certain way. It could be that you want to make love in a public place and you haven't done that before. So they can be really simple and it can be really exotic. It's really just have fun with it, really is the message. Have fun and explore and build that conversation and sharing with your lover as to what you would love to experience more in and outside of the bedroom.
Yeah, I totally love what you're sharing. I feel that a lot of couples, at least in my work, they are quite uncomfortable about talking about sex, probably due to the lack of sex education. So the question of what they want to do doesn't even cross their mind, much less bring it up to their partner. So I totally love this suggestion, and I feel that more people should think about doing that, because it seems to be working really well for you.
I think it is fun, and those become the ideas that can fuel your sensuous date nights as well. And so, you know, they kind of play within each other and have fun with it, really. I mean, some of us take life way too seriously. And sex is meant to be, you know, it's meant to be fun as well. So yes, it can be a serious thing, and it can be a total out of this world experience for some, and it's so many different things, but simply have fun. But that's the one thing I've noticed as well with my clients, is that they have a hard time really identifying what it is that they truly need and desire. And then they have a more difficult time to even communicate that with their partners. So we work through that in terms of letting them explore what that may mean for them. And sometimes they can get ideas from movies, reading a good book with some hot sex in it that can just fuel their imagination. So it's really about trusting their creative genius within them.
And getting inspiration from everywhere in life.
Absolutely.
So today's show title is Your Sexuality is a Gift, Unwrapped It. Could you tell us more about this link with our sexuality and with spirituality?
Yeah, my perspective, I do believe that sexuality is a gift. Here it is, it's our birthright. It's an animal instinct that is within all of us. And yet, unfortunately, most of us have not received a whole lot of information on that. I think you touched on that just a little while ago in terms of it being, you know, not a lot of education, or the education we received were from friends, or, you know, it was very hygienic, you know, on a school perspective. I was, you know, I went to a Catholic school, so it was very, you know, there's no sex before marriage in a Catholic system. And so, you know, it's a sin. And so part of that is having to undo all those stories that are not true. And embracing the fact that it's such a beautiful thing, and it's so natural and so innate, and it's all the way around us all the time. And not sexuality itself, but the beauty of creation. And sexuality is just an extension of that creative process in which we get to express our energies in that way. But it could also be very animalistic, and we all have our authentic sexual expression. That is unique to us, and it's really about us discovering what that means for us, and inviting our partner into that dance, and inviting and finding out what their authentic expression is, and co-creating that fire together.
That's lovely, wonderful. For people who are uncomfortable with expressing their sexuality, how exactly would they connect with this authentic spirit or essence? Do you have any tips for that?
Well, the one thing I would really suggest, and I know that that's been a great help in my life as well, has been self-pleasure is really the best place to start. especially for women, also for men. And then for men, I would encourage them to slow down, because I know oftentimes maybe they've conditioned themselves in the sense that, they'll masturbate really quickly because they were, certainly when they were younger, afraid to get caught that they were masturbating in the bedroom, if one of the parents was about to walk in. And so it's really about slowing down that process and really getting a feel and understanding of how that feels, what sensations and the intensity of the touch on the penis and or around the testicles, and what feels good for them. And then inviting their partner to be a part of that experience as well. And same thing for female, doing the same thing, really taking the time to explore your own body and know what turns you on. And so when you know it turns you on, then you can express that to your partner and ask them to, it's okay to communicate during sex. It's the most beautiful thing, because it is that dance that continues, and it doesn't have to be silent. You just communicate. Oh, can you just move a little bit to the right? Or can you just, oh, that feels so good. Can you continue more tongue? Ask and continue and watch your sex life change.
Definitely. Next month is May, and May is masturbation month in US. So I also have this campaign in online campaign that I have annually on masturbation month. So any other tips that you may have besides the importance of self-pleasure?
The other one would be, and it's part of pleasuring, is also maybe sensual massages. Sensual massages, like genital massage. So where you choose who's to give and who's to receive. And there's some wonderful massage oil. Make sure for women that you choose something that is perfect for the vulva and vagina, because some oils are, not necessarily as great inserted, right? But it's, something that's sugar-free and all that stuff. And then just the purpose of just massaging and having the focus is on trying different touches. And versus, so the woman with massage, if she's with a female partner, just taking her time to massage her partner's vulva and exploring all of that, the lips and the clitoris and the inner lips. And if you're with a male partner, then explore his penis and his testicles and really explore the whole area and vice versa, and just enjoy. And find out and ask them, do you like this? Do you want it? Just continue to ask and communicate what feels good to them and what doesn't.
What kinds of oils or products would you recommend that they look out for, and what to avoid?
I would avoid anything with glycerin and sugar in it, certainly for women. And in terms of massage oil, you just, anything, whatever, some of the, I'm sure you have some amazing sex, wherever you're living, there's some amazing erotica stores where some of the products, or you can buy them online. When it comes to massage oil, I just like something, it's really a personal choice, I find. Some like scented, some like unscented. Be aware that some people are more sensitive to scent. So it's just really about trying different things and seeing what works. But something that will actually, it's important to find an oil that will be slippery and doesn't dry up really quickly.
When you
offhand, so I'm sorry.
Sorry, say again?
I don't have a specific brand in mind. I've just tried things that works.
Sure.
Right, experimenting.
Great. So self-pleasure, genital massage. As far as I know, the internal part of the vulva, the vagina, also would love some loving touch there. Because what happens is every time we tense out, whenever we have pain during sex, there is actually energetic physical block that happens in our body. And so with massage, it can help to release those pressure points in our body so that we can have even more pleasure.
Absolutely. And the important part when you're mentioning that, so thank you for sharing, is also to remember to breathe. And certainly if there is pain that's showing up, just continue to breathe and really be solely and be present in the body. Because what happens when there's pain, we tense up. And so just remember to just breathe and just allow the body to just relax even more, so you can, allow for that penetration to to take place and relax the muscles in the pelvic area.
Fantastic. What kind of clients do you usually work with? I know you mentioned that you primarily work with women. Maybe what kind of issues they bring to you?
I primarily, at the moment, when I work with a variety of different clients. Some of them have approached me recently, and it's funny what they're coming up with. Well, my partner is the problem, and when you dig in and ask some of the questions, in the intake, when you're having that initial conversation with them, you find out, in this particular case, I found out that she had been repeatedly raped by a family member at a young age. So that's where we started. And I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. Therefore, and she'd been there, done that. So it was really to move beyond, to just heal that by I have a process that I use and call ancestral clearing. And so we use that process and getting into that space. And then we move them forth with some coaching to get them to build their self-esteem and their self-confidence so that they can have that deeper intimacy with their partner that they're seeking.
That's great. Yeah. So I love what you're sharing about ancestral clearing, because you also told me that you are an intuitive psychic as well. And so that's very interesting how you bring in what you know as well as the link with our sexuality.
Yeah, my intuitive abilities come in all the time in my sessions with clients and my coaching sessions. They're so innate within me. And the ancestral clearing is really, for some have come from a long lineage of sexual abuse or abuse, verbal, mental, physical, just in its particular topic, or other things. Ancestral is not just about the abuse. It's all whatever's in our lineage. It could be poverty. It could be lack mentality. It could be the suppression of the feminine, the suppression of not for women not speaking their voice.
So we're having a break now, and we'll come back and explore more about this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness and action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
What if living didn't have to be so serious?
What if you could move beyond your problems with greater confidence and ease than you've ever imagined?
Throw your labels out the window and join the Irreverent Therapist for practical tips and a very different way of approaching the changes you would like to create.
Marilyn Bradford
and Pam Hodling
have empowered hundreds of people to come out of self-judgment, quit looking to experts, and begin to create the lives they desire.
Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Irreverent Therapist Show.
Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Simone Milasas would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com. Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to Eros Evolution, where sexuality and spirituality meets. My name is Martha, and I am a clinical sexologist based in Singapore, and my company is called Eros Coaching. My guest today is Diane Merpaw. She is Canada's first professional sex coach, and her website is Diane, DIANE, Merpaw, MERPAW.com. If you are interested in exploring more about her services, you can definitely reach out to her. She offers a free 20-minute Breakthrough Goddess session where you will get a sense of the areas that you could perhaps work with her about, and also see if both of you are able to whether she can offer you any solutions with any of the issues that you have. Some of the services she provides includes coaching sessions, intuitive psychic readings, as well as various workshops that she has. So now with the internet, with Skype, everything is really convenient. So let me share a little bit more about Diane. So she said that, when she worked through some of her own sexual wounds, she is, because of that, she is deeply passionate about teaching other women on how to transform these wounds into decadent morsels of love, believing that every woman deserves to embody, embrace their magnificent, natural, sensual, and sexual essence. So welcome back, Diane.
Oh, thanks, Martha.
So just before break, we were talking about self-pleasure, genital massage, and then we talked about your service of ancestral clearing, helping people with trauma or any other kind of things that they inherited through their lineage. Are there any other services that you provide as somebody who is intuitive as well?
Oh, I have so many tools in my toolbox. And so I am a Reiki master. I also do hypnosis, depending on whether or not that fits the situation at the time. And so, I just really tune in to where the client is at any given moment in time, and we move forth. And it's really about, coaching is a beautiful thing because we look at where you're at now, what are some of the concerns that you may have, and where you would like to go, what's your vision, what is it that you're ideally, and then we just work towards that. And so we just keep using the various tools. My stuff is experiential. We get to play, and that's really, I don't give, it's called a play assignment. It's not work, and it's not anything like that. It's just go play and go and explore and go try this. And let's do some of the inner work, because it's really important for us to do the inner work and clear all the stuff that's inside so that you can really get down to that true authentic self of who that is for yourself.
And of course, when that happens, then our sexual being comes out and plays.
Absolutely. That's the fun. That's one of the great stuff. Great things come from all of this.
Yeah. So I love how you are using the word sex goddess in your branding, I guess. So how would listeners be able to unleash their own inner sex goddess? Do you have any luscious secrets for us?
Well, let me see what I can share with you today. The one thing that I would really, so of course, when I'm saying sex goddess, it's geared towards women, but it also means that men, you also have a feminine essence within you as well. So there's a part of you that can hone in and take a look and wonder or ask yourself, how can you slow it down, and how can you bring more pleasure to your beloved one that is before you? And so get creative with that. And it's not just a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Which those are nice every now and again, I must say, but it's also nice to just take your time and to just get lost in the aspect of pleasure. For women, it's really about love your body. I know that many women have issues with respect to their body image, and there's a lot of pressure in our world on how we're to show up. And I really, wherever you are with your body at this moment in time, please just learn to love it as it is, embrace it. And one of the ways to do that I found really, that really helped me, that was given to me long, long ago by a spiritual teacher when I first began my journey, was to stand in front of a mirror, naked after the shower. And I was to say that I love you. So I had to stand in front of the mirror, look at myself and say, I love you, Diane, from head to toe. And it was really uncomfortable. The assignment was to do that daily for 6 weeks. And that was at a time in my life where I didn't love who I was and didn't really embrace my body and had a really hard time with that. So, a couple of weeks in, I wanted to quit, and I'm going, and I kept getting pushed by my teacher to say, you've got to give it a shot. And I did. And I slowly began to fall in love with who I am, because it was really easy to criticize. Oh, I have stretch marks on my breasts. I have stretch marks on my hips. And what does my husband, what would my husband say? And he doesn't care. He really does. He calls those love marks. There's as a result of having 2 beautiful daughters. And so I learned, but that also changed on the inside as well. So that exercise, though it appears it's an outside thing, it really isn't. It really shifts you on the inside. I went on to do that for almost a year, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. And it really changed my life. And every now and again, if there's a little bit of a voice, that creeps up and I'm just going, no, check it out. Right. I love, and look, sometimes it's easier to start with something that you do love about yourself first. So I was doing that work there and also looking at what are 3 ways that I love myself today? What are some of the strengths that I have, and so forth. So that's one way. The other thing that I find it helps women to tap into that inner goddess as well is, doing a boudoir shoot. Have you ever done that?
No. I did do one.
Yeah.
But wait, hang on. So people say boudoir, but what does it mean? It just means being naked and taking photos, right?
Oh, it doesn't have to necessarily be naked.
Oh.
So I've had it here. I've had a couple here in my city in Ottawa. And I've had the first time was just wearing lingerie, or sometimes even you could be wearing your man's shirt and slowly undressing, so showing some skin, but not necessarily nude as well. So it could be any of those sexy poses. And I don't care what size you are, it is a life-changing experience to do that. It's so empowering, because if you find a really amazing photographer, she will capture your inner beauty within that. And the first time I had that experience and opened up my picture, I was crying, because I was just like, wow, I couldn't believe that was me that she had captured on there. And most of it, I had my clothes on, really sexy panties and a bra, lace bra, which I had bought, some high heel shoes. And we just played with necklaces and played with a boa. And the second time I did go with totally nude. And that was absolutely fun as well. So it's really about finding your own comfort place, and also finding that really good chemistry with a photographer.
Okay. So yeah, sure. Sorry,
yeah,
you were saying?
The third one is, if you can find some burlesque classes in your area, go for it. Do you understand?
Okay.
Burlesque is kind of, so I know it's a movie Burlesque, but it's really about, finding or taking a striptease class, a stripping class as well. I know that there's some pole classes, they call them pole dancing. Sorry. Yeah. And so really about moving and getting into that movement of dancing and movement of the body, because that also gets the energy circulating.
That's great. Have you done that? Going for a burlesque class?
I've done the burlesque class, had total fun, fell over on the chair, but hey, it was fun, and really glad I did it. And really have to just remember, it's just about having fun. And what I did realize is how fun it was, which is really important, and actually getting into the sexy moves and bringing those home and having fun and practicing that, in different ways, either inside or outside the bedroom, and creating that erotic energy, adding that erotic energy to your relationship with your partner.
So when you went for the class and learned all these moves, brought it home, what did your partner say when you did all that?
Oh, he was blown away and we was just, we had a lot of fun. There's laughter to be had. And I mean, who says you can't have laughter in the bedroom? But it was just fun. It's erotically charged and, so you can learn some sexy booty moves, or, I mean, one of the things they taught us was how to remove a glove with your teeth. And the music, of course, is a key component to that, or how to take off your boot. And so, and shaking your booty. So it was just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah. Sometimes we just need to have that experience or practice, and also being witnessed by other women so that we feel more secure to do it in front of our men.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. Yeah. Where we, certainly if we've been in front of our, with our partner for a long time, you wouldn't think that we'd have to do it that way. But for some of us, that's just the way it works. But it's also fun to try it at home. You don't have to take a burlesque class. You can put some of your favorite tunes and just get lost in doing a strip tease for your man. That could be part of your sensual date night.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So I love your sensuous, luscious secrets, because they are really more about coming back to your body. I love your mirror assignment to be naked and say I love you to each body part daily for 6 weeks. That's quite a feat. And for you to have done it for a year, my goodness.
It changed my life, so I would highly recommend it to anyone that way to continue. Why stop something that feels so good?
I love what you shared also with 3 ways you love yourself every day, finding your strengths to go for a burlesque or I can't remember the name now, boudoir class?
Yeah, boudoir. And the boudoir was actually photography.
Yeah, the boudoir session. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love what you're sharing, and the very fact that you have done them for yourself before shows that you know what you're talking about. You've actually done them and not just telling people to do things that you haven't actually done it yourself.
Oh, well, that's my personal philosophy in terms of got to try it out first and got to see, and if there's something that I haven't done, then I'm mindful how I share that.
So we have a break and we'll be back.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hi, my name is Monica and I'm the host of Co-Creating Now. Give yourself an opportunity to connect with your all-knowing higher self and manifest joy, love and peace together every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Elia, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Welcome back to Eros Evolution, where sexuality and spirituality meets. You are listening to Eros Evolution on the OMTimes Radio Network. You can share this show with your friends right now by sending them the link omtimes.com sexuality.com/mobile. So with this link, anybody can listen to our show. It's a really advanced mobile player that we have, so you don't need to download an app, and you just need that link in order to listen to the show. For this month, actually, I have a campaign running called EcoSex, and you can sign up for it by going to arrowscoaching.com/EcoSex. And for our guests, remember, Diane Merpaw is Canada's first professional sex coach. She's also an intuitive spiritual coach, and you can actually sign up for her free weekly newsletter, where when you sign up for it, you will receive a free 20-minute meditation called Sacred Union with Self. And what this meditation will do is help you connect more deeply with your divine essence. So you can sign up for the newsletter by signing up for her website, by going to her website and signing up at Diane Merpaw, MERPAW.com. Just before the break, we were talking about all the different things where a person can get in touch with their sexuality. And Diane shared with us her 3 luscious secrets on how to unleash your inner sex goddess. So welcome back, Diane.
Oh, thank you, Martha. It's been a pleasure.
What is the unique transformation that you feel you offer women through your work? I know you mentioned you bring in different modalities. What are some of the transformations you've seen in your clients?
What I see in my clients is actually a greater sense of self-confidence, peace as well, because certainly if they have experienced some traumatic experiences, that's really important for them to feel peaceful within. And as a part of that is teaching them that though that may, whatever situation unfolded in their life story, that is not who they are. It's just a part of the story. So I often use this analogy of, your life is a full book, and that may be a few pages or a few chapters in your book, depending on who you are in your story. And then you have the rest, depending on where you are on the life, depending on how old you are, you still have the rest of the book to fill. And so let's focus on the present moment and where you're going versus continuously looking backward, because that doesn't serve anything. So I help them a lot by looking at what's going on within, resolving that, and then moving forth and towards feeling amazing about who they are, and really getting them in touch with their intuitive voice, and trusting that as well, because it's one thing to hear intuitive voice, but it's another thing to follow it through, because it's not common sense a lot of times.
Fantastic. I guess I asked this already. What made you? You talked about how you came to be a sex coach. However, what was the thing that actually brought you to start doing this work of helping people?
My own life story. Really, it's my own life story. Having spent, when a good part when you're in your 30s and 40s and experiencing low sexual desire, and there's a part of me that just knew that if I turned it off, I must be able to turn it back on, because I somehow turned it off. Didn't know how I'd done it, but I knew that intuitively, energetically, I had turned that button off, or the switch off, turned it off. And so I'm extremely I have a lot of perseverance and tenacity, and so I figured if I turned it off, I can turn it back on. But it wasn't as easy, Of course, I went along the walk, a really long walk along the way to figure that out. But Sex Coach U really helped me to understand through some of the models that they taught us, was, that there's a mind, a body, a spirit, heart connection, and an energy connection as well. So that's when I started connecting the dots even more concretely, and able to see where there were, where the links were missing, so I can go back in and going, okay, and reconnect them all, so that I can feel that, it's already within us. It's simply about, reconnecting with those parts that we may have put away for whatever reason, because it felt better to do that at the time.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You mentioned just now that you are a mom of 2 daughters, and what are perhaps some of the challenges and advice that you have for parents out there?
Oh, well, it just depends. My girls are older now. They're in their late 20s. And so, but I do remember when they were younger how, many women today are working outside the home as well. And so both people both, if you're in a committed relationship, both partners are working outside the home, and if you've got a family and you've got the responsibility of work and wanting to advance in your career as well as raise your children and other activities outside the home, it could be really crazy schedules out there. And so really, it's really important to make the time to connect with your significant other. And here's why. They came along first. The children came along next. The children will leave you. They do leave home, and they do go on and spread their wings, which is what we're meant to do as parents, is to grow, instill the values and grow, help them grow into the beautiful, amazing beings that they are, and let them go. And then your partner's there. So if you don't take that time to really innately connect along the way, so there's my reason for the date nights and for the getaway weekends. I know that when our kids were younger, we certainly scheduled at least 1 weekend a year away, just the two of us. And the boundaries around that was we weren't going to talk about finances. We weren't going to talk about the kids. It was just about us and having fun. And we have done that. I've been married 31 years, and we continue to go away, though our kids have left home many years ago. And we still go away a weekend or two a year, where it's just to be with ourselves and just remove ourselves from the daily hustle and bustle and just be with ourselves and just have fun exploring a new city. And there are times where we did have money, because I can understand that may be a concern for a lot of the families. Get creative. Some of you may have extended family nearby. Ask them to take the kids for an overnight sleepover. If you've got friends, do a switch, switch. 1 weekend take their kids, the next weekend they take yours, or somewhere along the way, but find creative solutions where it doesn't have to cost you a whole lot of money, if any money at all. There's lots you can do that doesn't cost any money. But the importance is about being together and spending that time with each other.
I love what you're sharing.
Oh, thank you.
Any advice for parents with regards to their relationship with their kids?
With the relationship with their kids? In which way do you mean? Can you explore more?
Specifically their sexuality.
Oh, their sexuality. I love it. I have a girlfriend. I didn't do this because I didn't have the information that I have today. When we would go and sit with them at the supper table was all the time for us to commune, and we would go, okay, let's have the talk. And they're going, we already had it at school. Please don't talk to us about sex. And so I think the one important thing that I would convey to all of you is please make sure that you honor the body parts as they are. So don't call them nicknames. It's a penis, it's a vulva, it's a vagina. It's not a wee-wee, and it's not a muffin. I remember babysitting a little girl once where the mother kept calling it her muffin. And I go, it's not a muffin. It's, it's a vulva, it's a vagina. And so use the proper terms with them so that they can embrace their body with love and grace versus shame. And when your kids are asking questions, answer the questions. And, of course, if they're 5 years old and they're asking about something, often you just need to give them a quick answer or two, and they don't need a long, detailed explanation, but answer it for their level. And yes, it's okay to say that mommy and daddy have special time together. And yes, that I remember a girlfriend telling me, my kids are asking me, they were 7 or 8 years old, and asking, are you having sex with dad? And she said, yes, I am. And, and she didn't shy away from it, but that's all they wanted to know. They didn't want to know more. She just said yes. She didn't shy away from it, because the thing is, be open about it, and yet be mindful of where they are at with their age. And you don't have to give them all the details, but if you are open and you share it in a way that's lovingly and graceful, then that just opens them to be more open with their own sexuality and not have all that body shame and all that shame that can be associated with sex, unfortunately.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything else you'd like to share with listeners? Anything that I haven't covered on this show?
You know what? My parting message would be, you know what? Each and every one of you, male, female, have a beautiful, amazing birthright of sexuality. And I really just encourage all of you to just really dive in and just be in that space of loving this beautiful gift that we have been given by our Creator, and to find ways to explore it and get lost in the pleasure of daily life. Like, life is meant to be filled with pleasure, sensual pleasure, physical pleasure, and just so please it's sacred, and find those moments to build that into your daily life. It's not just about running the treadmill at 100 miles an hour and waking up and going, what's next? Like, be fully present in your life now and enjoy it all, and give and receive, and just get lost and having, just enjoy the succulence of the pleasure.
Thank you so much. I think that's a beautiful conclusion to wrapping up our show on how our sexuality is a gift. Thank you so much. I can hear the love, the passion, the lusciousness in your voice. And of course, we Skyped just now and I saw you on the video. You are absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much, Martha. And so are you. And I wish all the best to every one of your listeners.
Thank you so much. Next week, we will have another guest where we will be exploring your direct connection to the divine with a wellness facilitator, certified sexuality sexuality educator, and sexological body worker. So tune in to Eros Evolution next week.